Hold on to your butts because it's time for a spectacular tour to the unknown. That's right, Tour Guide from the Underworld is here to lead the way. Released in Extreme Victory, on normal summon it allows you to special summon a level 3 fiend monster from your hand or deck. Its effects are negated and it cannot be used as synchro material. Firmly in the 5Ds era, that was basically all you'd want to do with a free monster from the deck. It wasn't until we were introduced to Xyz monsters that everything began to make a lot more sense. While our choices for rank 3s were pretty limited at first, basically just being Rhinosaurus and Leviathan Dragon, Tour Guide allowing you to summon one very easily made it a useful addition, usually summoning another copy of itself or a Sangan to the field. Sangan was one of the few monsters that fit the criteria, and if it was ever drawn, it was a good monster to play onto the field, netting a search upon destruction. Eventually, we would get more cards to begin fleshing out the story of Tour Guide, notably is Torbus from the Underworld, another level 3 fiend monster. The Torbus is also seen in the artwork of Tardy Orc, who was late and missed his chance for the tour. In the spell card Mistake, we see the moment everything went wrong, as Sangan is also featured in the artwork, instead boarding the wrong bus. This is the Torbus to Forbidden Realms, and as the name implies, it's where all the monsters who found themselves on the Forbidden list are meant to go. We can see Cyberstein, Magical Scientist, Rescue Cat, Yatagarasu, and the creatures from Tribe Infecting Virus. This card was also released shortly after Sangan was actually placed on the Forbidden list in real life, and as we see in the story unfolding in the card art, apparently it was all a mistake. In the artwork of Shared Ride, Sangan jumps into a car with one of the delinquent duo monsters and the Angel from Graceful Charity. These were spell cards that were also forbidden. Supposedly they're going to get him where he needs to go, but in mistaken arrest they're pulled over. Also, it looks like they were trying to smuggle Pot of Greed along with them, much to the surprise of Sangan. That is honestly just hilarious. They literally got pulled over for having pot in the car. Sangan is then locked up in a cell alongside Witch of the Black Forest in mistaken accusation. This is kind of where the story ends. We really haven't gotten any other cards with artwork that continues the narrative. But in the more recent alternate artwork for Tour Guide from the Underworld, she's seen actually giving a tour to both Sangan and Tardy Orc as well as some other monsters. This is either a different universe where they both got on the right bus at the right time, or it could be inferred that Tardy Orc eventually caught up with the group and that Sangan was eventually released from prison. I mean, he's no longer on the Forbidden list in real life, so I guess he was able to make his plea. But you know, along with this, I think it's pretty neat that official Yu-Gi-Oh products are starting to keep both Tour Guide and Sangan together, and not just the fan art. Like they just announced a figurine that includes both of them. Look at Sangan, he's got his cute little trinoculars from the artwork. The two of them make for a pretty classic duo, not just in the gameplay, but in terms of concepts. I mean, it's an anime waifu and her little mascot. But you know, looking back on it, I think it's really neat how Tour Guide from the Underworld's effect really relates to her being a tour guide. I mean, when you normal summon her, she's supposed to bring out the monster from the deck onto a tour. It's the little things like that that make me appreciate these cards. Now, while we will later get Beat Cop from the Underworld and Muckraker from the Underworld, which are both great additions, I don't think there's much that can really top Tour Guide. But I think it is pretty funny that these are just more monsters that are regular people with regular jobs in the Underworld. Random weird fact, but I found out that in the Chinese version of Duel Links, a lot of cards with skulls or other death-related imagery are censored, including Tour Guide from the Underworld. Like, if you get rid of all the goth decorations on her outfit, she's just a normal woman. She looks so sad. During the Zexal era of Yu-Gi-Oh, we saw a decent amount of Tour Guide popping up here and there. Of course, the iconic 100th YCS playmat was the grail of all playmats, but for the most part, that's kind of it. I sort of mentioned in my Rescue Rabbit video how Yu-Gi-Oh is only now just starting to expand to other monsters beyond the regular ones from the Duel Monsters era, and we kind of reached the point where Zexal is nostalgic. These two really were mascots of Xyz summoning ranks 4 and 3 respectively. Though I'm glad we've never really forgotten Tour Guide from the Underworld. I mean, she's definitely not the worst Yu-Gi-Oh waifu a person could have. She is in fact a grown woman with a job, so I say bring on the anime figures. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below about this monster. Do you have any memories, and what do you think about the lore that takes place across various cards? Well, I do think it's funny we get to see this little misadventure that Sangan goes on. Personally, I would have loved to see even more featuring Tour Guide herself. Anyway, this is GatorX, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.